and joining me now for an exclusive interview is one of the jurors who helped determine Casey's fate. That is Jennifer Ford. She joins us from Florida this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And Jennifer, I read that you said you were sick to your stomach after reaching the verdict. Is that because you knew that Casey would go free even though she may have murdered her child?
I think it was more just not knowing whether you're setting someone free that murdered their child, or we didn't know, so it was hard to know if we made the right decision based on what actually happened without having enough evidence to say definitively she committed a crime or she didn't.
And you're not convinced that she didn't?
I'm not convinced that she didn't, but I also couldn't exclude the possibility of it being an accident, so I can't find her guilty of a crime if I'm not sure a crime was committed. So it was just that not knowing exactly what happened and not knowing if we made the right choice. And of course we don't want to set someone free if they killed their beautiful daughter.
Not knowing and having that doubt, I wonder, does that make you frustrated with the prosecution? What did you need to hear or see from them that you didn't see?
I'm not sure what I needed exactly. They had strong circumstantial evidence. They just needed something solid to just say it absolutely was not an accident. Just kind of tie it all together and not leave the dots for us to or me to connect with speculation and accusations and guessing. Like we were instructed not to do that. So for us to connect the dots with question marks, it didn't feel justifiable to do that.
So even though you had a lot of question marks, the chloroform, the smell in the trunk, the body being found wrapped in duct tape months later, that wasn't enough?
Well, I have a lot of arguments against the chloroform I think there's so much doubt with that I have to take that out of the equation. It doesn't exist for me.
Crystal Holloway, the woman alleged to be George Anthony's mistress, she said that George told her that this was an accident that spiraled out of control. And listening to you, it sounds like that's what you believe.
Like I said, I don't believe one way or another. I don't have enough evidence either way.
How much impact did that testimony have on you?
Not much. Like most of the stuff, it can't be proven, so it's speculation, and it doesn't mean much. You can't put too much weight on it. It's just a guess. So
you sat through all that testimony, 33 days of testimony. You must have formed some opinion of what you think happened.
Well, as I explained before, it's easier to get to the conclusion that it was an accident than it is to get to the conclusion that it had something to do with chloroform and duct tape for me. Because if it was chloroform, George said Casey left the house with Kaylee, so were they in a public place when it happened? The whole chloroform thing, was Kaylee in her back seat chloroformed and duct taped, or did she in public put her in the trunk? I mean, I don't know how to make that whole picture come together at all.
Do you think if the prosecutors were not seeking the death penalty, it might have affected how you deliberated about this case? Absolutely. I think it was even mentioned a few times. If they charged her with other things, we probably could have convicted or got a guilty sentence, but not for death, not for first degree. There's not enough to substantiate that. That's a very serious charge. I was shocked yesterday when Russell Eucler, the alternate juror, told Elizabeth that he thought, based on the evidence, that Casey was a good mom. Is that what you thought the evidence showed? Nobody got up there and said, Casey acted like Kaylee was a burden to her and she never wanted to be a mother. I mean, nobody said that. They all said that Casey seemed to have a good relationship with her daughter and it seemed to be genuine. So we had that on one hand, and on the other hand, we did have the behavior that was questionable at best after, Kaylee died and she was out and, doing whatever she did. So it would have been helpful to have a witness that said, either she neglected the child or, the child was burdensome to her or something to that effect. But nobody said that. They all said she was a good mother. We only have a few seconds left. Nancy Grace yesterday called the jury kooky. How do you respond to that kind of criticism? I have no comment on Nancy Grace. It's not fit for television. So you do have thoughts. You're just not going to say them? They're negative, and there's no point in it. I think a lot of things she says just fuel the fire, and they're based on nothing, and I obviously am against making decisions based on just speculation and opinions. Okay, well, Jennifer Ford, thanks very much for joining us. Thank you for your time.